Hello everyone and welcome back to Swiddlebox. Today we'll be introducing ATON Custom's 112 Collective John Wick. And I'm gonna say that I was really surprised by how well they've done this time. If you have pre-ordered this figure, you get a marker as a pre-order bonus. Despite the fact that I've been waiting for over a year for this figure to arrive, I can assure you that it's worth the waiting. So, if you have pre-ordered the Ultimate Deluxe version, then you will get 4 head sculpt along with 4 suited body. Set aside all these accessories and newly molded exchangeable hands, which I'm pretty sure you'll be really amazed of. Next thing that worth mentioning is that Kane's body this time is actually customized to be of different height. As you know, in the movies, he's always a little bit shorter than John. And I'm really excited to work with ATON Customs. Huge credit to them. Thank you for making this video come true. You're always the best. And without further ado, grab a drink, sit tight, follow my camera. Let's see how they does this time.
John Wick is a man of focus. Fucking will. I can assure you that the stories you hear about this man, if nothing else, has been watered down.
The boxing is just outrageous. You could see how big it is. I could barely fit it into my camera. And there is still that self-markery. This is a homemade toy, with a marker decorating the front. Nice and clean, I like it. But let's start with the figures. You can see a quite difference among their heights. They've designed a customized body for Kane this time, who's around 5'6", so I think it's quite appropriate for such a figure. And if you have pre-ordered the Deluxe version, you get this extra pair of body that's from the final duel scene, where they're pointing guns to each other to show their last stands. And we know that ATON have been doing some great head sculpt, but I gotta say that I've actually been stunned by them this time. You could even see the clear-cut detail on the end of the hair. Such great detail for such small a head sculpt. It will be extremely difficult to show the hairstyle on such a small-scale figure. And in order to make the hair more lifelike, they've added a second layer of hair underneath it. And I'm thanking Leo for taking these photos for me. And of course, attach the sunglasses to the hair will cope you with the Matrix vibe. They've even made acne marks for Kane. And I know what you've been wondering. Is this suited body capable of great articulation? Answer is yes, but do mind that the head sculpt is not glued together, so be careful with it. And the suit in the movie was actually using jacquard clothing, enriching the details on a plain colored suit, making John look capable and experienced. You could tell from my previous video that I'm quite a picky person when it comes to suits, but man, what can I say? ATON have done it with great excellency. As usual, double joint at the elbow, enabling articulation for over 120 degrees. Uprising of the arm reaches easily over 90 degrees. Early as you can see, it is a little bit restricted by the clothing, but this is actually the best you could expect on a suited cloth figure. They have to find a balance between the articulation and the overall hiding of the joints. Arms could reach 90 degrees easily on the side without any noticeable wrinkle. I know you've probably heard this a million times, but they've actually done some great modification to the suit material. Foreleaning at easily 45 degrees. And if you want to do some crazy pose like the bullet time, well, backleading goes easily over 30 degrees, so no problem with that. And considering Keanu have been doing some crazy martial arts or some judo or karate movements, we'll definitely need some great articulation to the leg. Or kick to 90 degrees no problem, and double joint at the knees ensuring an articulation of the lower leg over 120 degrees. Plus, all 4 of them are wearing socks. Also, you got a 40-degree back kick, which was quite sufficient. The modified ankle joint ensures better articulation and stabilization. And what's more, you could always fit his magazines or his pistol to his arm belt. It's just pull and shoot without any hesitation. And to take care of the suit to make it look even better, you could start with little tweezers or screwdrivers, and you could wrap its front with a blue tack so that you will not scratch the clothing. But of course, try to be gentle with them. Apart from that, it's also an easy handy tool to clean the clothing from dusts. And this is the best I can do without ironing the suit. By shoving the shirt inside a little bit, you could easily eliminate the wrinkles and curves on the shirts. But of course, you will still get some stubborn ones left. And my suggestion is that if you had the experience of removing the shirt as a whole piece, then ironing it would not be much of a problem. But if you have never done this before, you could just simply iron the over jacket a little bit. And just to make it nice and clear, I'm using the background cloth for demonstration. Put a wet towel beneath the clothing you are trying to iron. A smaller electronic iron could do the job and turn the mold into blendings or chemical mixtures. Do remind to control the time within 5 minutes. Otherwise, the clothing material might lose its color, or worse, the button might come off because it's glued to the suit. After that, avoid the sunlight to let it dry. Moving on to the articulation of Kane this time. As I said, they've upgraded the body for better articulation, and Kane would look less bulky. You could see that his suit design gives us an overall impression of lightness and swiftness, and even his martial arts faction that's called Yongchun is known for fast and rapid attack. The only thing that I'm not satisfied with the movie's suit design is that somehow it exaggerates his head circumference. But fortunately, all the toy makers including Hot Toys and ATON Customs choose to modify it a little bit. This way Kane has better articulation either in the film and for this toy. And of course, the lower body is where they've done most modifications, and they've managed to loosen the trousers successfully, so he could even do a full split. But make sure to adjust the crotch a little bit, otherwise the sewing might also split. Porky could also serve past 90 degrees with no problem, and because he has shorter lower leg plus double joint knees, he could even do an easily Asian squat. And best of all, his trousers will still look nice and clean. Are there other poses you would like to see him do? Leave comments to let me know. Bad Kid could reach a 45 degrees with no problem. Move on to hands and other exchangeable accessories. Like I just said in the beginning, they've done some crazy details on the new molding exchangeable hands. And for the better hiding of the joints, you would notice a sunken in the exchangeable hands. This way you could fit the joints right inside. And I do have to apologize for their being a little bit blurry under telezoom. But I can assure you that these are absolutely some of the best exchangeable hands you can find on a 6-inch figure. There's even one exchangeable hands with pencil pinched holes. Gosh, that was really mouthful. We'll figure out a better name for it. Coming up next, we got gun holding hand on the left side, which is really rare for an action figure, but man, he's John Wick, and we could also use this pair of hands to do some other things. Like holding this standing cup for instance, from the scene before their duel. Now I wonder if it's bottling champagne or soda water. Next one, naturally, the right gun holding hand. Fits perfectly well with the guns with a nice and steady grasp. I'm using one of the most iconic guns in this movie, the TTI Viper. It also copes well with the nunchucks. The way Keanu has been using it in the film really reminds me of Bruce Lee. But do be careful with them, the chains are extremely thin. Do think twice before you give it a whirl. Coming up next, you get this very dope technical axe. Really love the metallic painting edge. The frosted appearance looks amazing. And of course, you could always use him to hold katana, which I believe to be a quite iconic symbol for the Osaka Continental Hotel. And it's actually made of the same mold out of the Nota Toys Nura. The gloss are amazing on the edge. The next pair of hands is for Kane to wear pokers and for John Wick to hold magazines. Quite a novelty for John Wick to speak Cantonese.
Let me guess. 5 of kind?
Yeah. 又係一條仆街唔家產。Yeah， 仆街唔家產。
Well, you could see that not only did both of these magazines and pokers hold perfectly still, but all the details are matched with the movies. For example, we got exactly poker suits as in the movies, and the patterns of the back looks marvelous. And you think they'd stop there? Of course not, they've made a magnificent pair of chopsticks. Wanna know why? If you remember Kane's first action scene, you must be familiar with this bowl of noodle. Once you replace this piece of barbecued pork, you could easily attach the noodle effects to the bowl. What I love about Kane is that while he's been eating and enjoying his noodle, everyone else are busy fighting around. He knew his only goal was John Wick. And consider the fact that he's actually blind, it would be natural for him to carry a flash grenade around. I think he's kind of like the Daredevil, more powerful in the darkness. The next one is this pocket watch. He got his daughter's photo in it, even though he can't see it. And moving on to the weapons. It's been so long since Keanu last said guns, lots of guns. So we are absolutely doing this. So the main weapon, Terran Techniques John Wick 4 Dracorin Gen 12 shotgun. Customized version for John Wick 4 based on Genesis Arms Gen 12, equipped with BCM fishbone grip and shotgun butt, used to fire an extremely powerful ammunition called the Dragon's Breath. Got 2 magazines to cope with the guns. Looks really dope and badass. Next, the pistol used by Kane, 6-hour P365 SAS, designed for concealed carrying. Optics are integrated into the sliding sleeve, therefore no worries for hitching. And a Strike Industry mass driver muzzle brake was also added, making it extremely reliable for street combats. The next one is what I've just introduced before, the TTI Pit Viper. Also from Terran Techniques, customized version of the STI 2011. Inherits the style of TTI Combat Master. The overall looking is more integrated. It fires 9mm caliber bullets with a capacity of 21 shoots a round, and there's also a compensator to restrain jumping up. But a fancy look comes with a fancy price. It's selling at a price over $7,000 pre-tax. I think collecting action figure guns will be just alright for me. And the next weapon is literally hell joke. This was way beyond the parents' coupon from their Pattinson Batman. And if you know where it's from, please leave comments. And the next weapon is Kane's cane, or walking stick, whatever you want to call it. Well, it's quite natural for him to carry a walking stick around, but what you can't expect is that there's actually a sword inside the cane. Did anyone get the pun? However, considering that it might break during the plugging out, ATON have done them separately. And next to weapon is when they used at the final battle, Thompson Center arms anchor with vintage curvings. You could literally see all the wooden and metal curving clearly. And the best thing of all is you could literally have articulation at the board. Pulling it down and you will see a hollow barrel inside. Really marvelous detail with all those glossy paintings. So which guns do you like best? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget the special effects. First one is the bullet penetrating effect. Quite an interesting one if you want to cope it with other action figures, but do remember to heat it up before installing. And you also get a firing and bulleting effect like the Winter Soldiers. You also get these very dope collision bullet effects, which was magnetic. And finally you get these Dragon Breath special effects, but do use another action figure for displaying. And finally, one of the most important accessories, John's stock. You can see it's of slightly lighter color than the Magical and Mayfix ones. That's so much for the accessories, let's move on to the height comparison. They're fine to cope with some other 6-inch figures, would fit perfectly with Mayfix, SH Figures, Lim Toys, some other kind of third-party brands. You can see I'm using some of the iconic ones for comparison, and also they're basically of the same height as the Manipul Studio Superman, which was also in my last video, and of course to cope with Magical Batman, which I haven't done review yet, waiting for update accessories. And finally is the John Wick that I've customized by myself a couple of years ago. I've done a video about this figure. If you haven't seen it, you could click my channel and take a look at him. The overall looking is from John Wick 2. Which suit do you prefer? Leave comments to let me know. And thank you for watching. Here's everything about today's video. Do not forget to share, like, and subscribe. Love you guys. See you next time. Bye.